All praises, Kembo Kimbo na Tatanzami Yamazulu. King Fumo Kyaku Isa. Nzambi Mawesha, Nzambi Akubenisha, Nzambi Monene. Nzambi Ampungo Tulende Akongo Yave, Bayete, and Kosi Kembo, hallelujah. I give honor to Tatanzambi, King Kongo, and Fumo Yave. Sonina Nini Samala, and Kulu Kulu, Igwe, Modimo, the almighty powerful God of the heavens and the earth, that the fallen angels always pretend to act like they are, as they play both sides in this masquerade, that many people are in ignorance. Iblis, ignorance is Iblis. So that's another name for Shaitani. I'm going to talk about, many things that many of the world has been brought to a strong delusion. One person explained that, well, is the Matrix more powerful than the Father? No, because he created the Matrix. The strong delusion is the Matrix. Okay? The fallen ones running the Matrix are running the strong delusion, but their whole frustration is when they think that they own something, they're supposed to keep it. He only gave his children over to them for a time, and now this is why there's a fight going on for the restoration of those who wanted to return back to Kulu Kulu, and why the knowledge was hidden from us, and many of us were meant to believe in the deception of the world that we're living in. And all praises. I had intended to get on here sooner, but I had a wonderful opportunity to speak with some people. I really enjoy engaging in conversations to help our people get better understanding with the relationship, because the world has been completely misunderstood about the Father because of those that have created a major deception in this time to all the things that are going on. So once again, I give all praises to Tatanzambi and Pungakanda Akongo Yave, Bayete and Kosi Kemba, hallelujah. I give honor to all those that are here today, that continue to do the Most High's work. All praises we offer righteousness, understanding. It's time to do the things that we need to do and not our own. Bayete and Kosi Kemba, hallelujah. 1 second. We give all praises once again. Kukisi Ambote. I hope that you're wicked, Chila. We give all praises. We know that in this time, we are indeed in a major fight. We see the things that are happening across the world, especially on the East Coast, the Middle East, as they call it. It wasn't really called the Middle East, but that's what they're calling it. All of the people, that's why I'm going to talk about the First Commandment and the way the devil has deceived the whole world. What kingdom are you really in? And we're going to first get into a song. I'm going to sing, and then I'm going to play the music. I hope everybody's doing well in this time. We know it's all a struggle. Many people are dealing with a lot of issues going on, and we need to continue to fast, pray, seek the Most High for those that are struggling. And like I said, a lot of people don't get it. Is we're going to talk about hypocrisy and what that really is when it comes to what the scriptures are talking about. Because no person that's in a 501c3 church or anything that's been controlled through the process of Rome's indoctrination is going to understand that how they are bringing curses upon their own family is because you were trained to be a hypocrite from the one who is playing both sides without even realizing it. And the Father's only going to wake up the people that he loves, as far as choosing to understand that many people have chosen to teach you lies. And that is something that has to do with the way people have their free will to do however they want to please. And we're going to talk about that. the Bible when he talks about the true concept of a hypocrite. A hypocrite is someone that is working for both the Most High and Lucifer, claiming to be able to work for Lucifer, for the Most High, and they are intentionally leading people in a direction where they know is the complete opposite of the kingdom, including the fact that writing the names down is all part of it. And that's why they wanted to change things so that the people that they wanted to keep them away from the true temple, because the intent of the Pharisees, scribes, Sadducees, and hypocrites, as I'm going to go over in the book of Nicodemus, was the fact that they never stopped wanting to expose the Messiah for the imposter that they thought he was, and that they were always seeking the revenge through Lucifer to not allow humanity to control him, but to give the perception that they did, so that each generation as they went forward would become progressively worse when it came to actually knowing how to deal with the demonic realm and the spirits that were there. Okay? So I'm going to sing the song real quick, and then we'll get into the teaching about the First Commandment and how people are being misled about it. The song I'm going to be singing as I learned the story was when Simon Toko, the Maya Mona, the child of Revelation 12, was leading his people, and Rome did not want him to teach the truth, nor did any of the colonial powers. So they would threaten the families. And I know a brother personally who taught many of the Tokuists in his class how they would really do a number on them, because in Angola at the time, it was not even permitted for you to really know the Bible. And they didn't want people to know because they wanted to help them understand it was about controlling people. Like we talked about, the missionaries were there for 500 years, and their whole purpose was really to exploit, not to teach. And they were being used as pawns by those who worked with Edom to continue to fulfill the prophecy of the Esway, when it says that he will break the yoke from under his brother. And the way he did that is to become his brother. And then to put the yoke back upon those that chose to listen to the false Messiah and those who were already bewitched by Rome's indoctrinations, and the seven churches that actually continue to maintain their deception, because it's always just been seven churches. It never was any different. And it's going to prove that, Masindisi never changed the Samwadi. The sorcerer's the one of the people that likes to get people to that mentality, because it's a documented fact that the day of worship was changed by the Christians to separate themselves from the mentality of what they wanted to call the Jews, when in reality, that was one of the ways the devil wanted to continue to steal the power away from those who would be chosen. And so that's why when it says he shall turn to seek change times and laws, everything was about turning over the power of the Bana Betu, nZolele, to the wicked ones, by continuing as imposters and false doctrines and devils. So like I said, the canon that was written by Rome is named after Canaan. That's why they got that word from. So the Canaanites wrote the Bible and put the Most High in there, took our scrolls and modified them so the Canaanites would think that they were the ones, as they infiltrated many of the different 70 tribes around the world in the past. And so what's we're going to talk about is anyone who was supposed to bring the truth was always a threat to those, because they were not afraid of the Messiah. They would just react to the power. Like it says, the fear of the Most High starts with, first of all, knowing who you fear. Many people don't understand. They're fearing Baal, and he's shaming people. And it's not really, and that's why many people with the hypocrisy, they're practicing condemnation without even realizing it, because the hypocrites are the ones teaching them how to know the Creator. And when you do that, there's no way for you to actually receive the kingdom, because hypocrites are basically those who are looking to embellish themselves more than the Father, and looking to promote whatever doctrine they have been indoctrinated into. That's why we use the scriptures against them, because they're teaching everything backwards on purpose. Okay. Oh, sorry, I lost my spot here. All right. Vena nZulu diamvuvami yo weneno quando angendilu kanzia wewe no kemboa we wakanini monenako wakanini se wakanini wakanini onemako ke wakanini ke wakanini ke wakanini monenako Venanyamba zikuka ziko kwanga suma yawanga kansi yawe bezikidila ke wakanini monekako ke wakanini ke wakanini ke wakanini monekako ke wakanini ke wakanini excuse me ke wakanini monenako and I'll get the song that they actually sing on YouTube and put it in the chat. Venanye vuki via velidike azenza bakendingo vanza ombana boma mvuluzi ke yakanini monekako ke wakanini ke wakanini ke wakanini monekako ke wakanini ke wakanini ke wakanini monekako Venanyanginduza wavanani venampeyo twanda musambu ozika kukwantu adi kadi ozikuka kwantwa diwa ke wakanini monekako ke wakanini 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 onenako ke wakanini ke wakanini ke wakanini monenako Venyasambila azikukuka yenkunga miala ogwalalu kanzi owete wangimbila ke wakanini monekako ke wakanini ke wakanini ke wakanini monenako ke wakanini ke wakanini ke wakanini monenako Zevo tunzindala hakodo etangwa sengi mangungenga inavo tuzaye ludivo omano somwaza moneka omano so O mano somva monica. O mama moso, o mano so, o mano somva monica. O mano so, o mano so, o mano somva monica. O mano so, o mano so, o mano somva monica. Kemo na Tata Nzambi, Manakuma say, Imwana, Imwana Vila Masabi Seto, Saku Panza and Zinga, Tata Nzambi, and Pungu Father, Matona, Masakila for this day. Bawadi Kolade, for anything that has been seen unrighteous in your sight. For indeed, Tata Nzambi, we're fighting against principalities and the principalities and darkness of this earth. Any and all unrighteous spirits that continue to torment the Bana Betu, we saw that day and night. Any of those that continue to open up portals, whether they realize it or not, that continue to bring devouring spirits against the Bana Betu, nZolele, the Kongo Bayuda, the Benanzambi, the people of the promise. We know Tata Nzambi that there are many imposters amongst the sheep. There are many of those who are ignorant to what they really worship. And we call upon you, Tata Nzambi, the Mona Velada, the Holy Spirit, set apart spirit of Nzambi and Pungu, will bring revelation to those who continue to remain blind, leading the blind into the pit. For indeed, Tata Nzambi, we will break this down as to what people need to understand about the kingdom of Zulu and the things that people are not realizing, that you seek the repentance and not the judgment first of many, and that we call upon you, Tata Nzambi, to help our people to gain this understanding. Bayete and Kosi Kem Hallelujah. Yenge, Keno Pemba Kalunga, Kalunga Nzambi, Bawadi Kolade, once again, Kusa Kongo, we honor you. Mandavelana, we honor you. Excuse me, Maliki Makongo, the Mbasi, the angels of truth. We honor you, the Kolade to the Pemba Kalunga. All praises that we are indeed. And we have angered our ancestry for turning against Nzambi and Pungu, for continuing to do the things that are unrighteous against our souls, that continue to torment us with anger, frustration, and that will continue to manifest more and more in these last days as the whole truth will soon unveil itself, that many don't realize they walk backwards, whether they realize it or not. Bayete and Kosi Kemba Hallelujah. I'm going to play the song. Again, I don't own the rights to the music. It's only for edification and for the glorification of this channel of the Most High Tata Nzambi, to continue to help our people regain their knowledge and understanding of truth. Bayete and Kosi, let me share the screen, and we'll get started here. All right, did that. So nini na nini somanda Kemba Hallelujah kuso fumu Yesu Tanzania Bayete Nkosi. I wish I could recreate the pictures I had so I could stop reading the music in other places. But I can't find, after I deleted it, it won't pull them back up. I have to get a new computer. All praises. Umbote Kembo, hallelujah. Luvuvamu, Yala. Sorry, I didn't quite get that out just right. We're going to get into the scripture of Matthew 6. And I want to show you, well, actually, I'm going to get into the book of Nicodemus. But before I start that, I'm going to start with the First Commandment. Okay. And I'm going to show you where the world continues to be deceived about the people that are in the second verse of Exodus, which we know is called Wantete Wamosi. Okay? Now, the scriptures themselves and the deception that they have told you, the original Bible was not written by Massa, but it was entrusted to him to help write the scriptures of those who preceded him, of Abana and Saka Yakubi, that were retrieved and brought out of Ngipiti with the people from the previous Nabi, including Maliki Sadeki, Melchizedek, and Samuel, because Samuel has wrote many of the scriptures himself, Shem, Noka, his books, Matuzola, Hanoka, and any of these other things. Many Christians don't understand is that's why the other books of the Bible are not there, because there's way more to the story than what it talks about in Genesis. This is the strong delusion in itself that the Father has said, while you don't know about the first, second, third, and fourth book of Adam and Eve, Jubilee, Hanoka, Maleki Sadeki, and the Apocalypse of Abana, and those type of books. Because many of these scrolls came out with us, but they're only giving you the watered down interpretation of the kingdom. The reason being is because of this fact, what I want to talk about. It says, I'll first read it in English, then I'll talk about what it says. As Tata Kongo spoke all these words, as God, I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of Egypt, out of the land of slavery. You shall have no other gods before me. The way Lucifer has deceived the whole world is who are the people that were brought out of this land. And that's where it starts. The hypocrisy of the world is the Christians, the Muslims, Judaism, and many of these other beliefs, especially those three, okay, are telling you that they worship the God that brought the people out of Egypt. Okay? You cannot do this when you mix your spirituality with another belief. This is the deception. Ishmael was never brought out of Egypt by the Most High. Ashkenaz was never brought out of Egypt by the Most High. Edom was not brought out of Egypt by the Most High. Kittim or any of these other 70 tribes that are now deceived by the religion of Christianity, Christians were not brought out of Egypt by the Most High. Okay? So the deception that many people are being made to believe is just because you claim this God does not mean you are talking to this God when you are actually serving two masters and not realizing it, because of how they have twisted the words of the scriptures to favor those who are looking to control the narrative. Okay? Tata Kongo, the creator, did not bring Muhammad out of Egypt. Okay? Tata Kongo did not bring Esau out of Egypt. He brought Yakubi, Jacob, out of Egypt. So where many people don't understand is where Lucifer has deceived the whole world is who is Jacob. This is the deception. Who really is Jacob? Who did he really bring out of Egypt and out of the land of bondage? He didn't bring Muslims out of Egypt. It didn't exist. He didn't bring Christians out of Egypt. He did not bring, the Ashkenazi Jews out of Egypt. He did not bring Amalekites, Jebusites, Amorites, Moabites. He did not bring these people out of Egypt. They know, and the deception that people don't understand, and why you will never hear this from any pastor, he brought the Bana Betu of nZolele out of Egypt, the Bakongo, the Bayuda. There was no Lawan Kwadash. There was no Yiddish. There was no Latin. There was no Aramaic. Well, there was Aramaic, but the Phoenicians were the ones the Hittites were the ones speaking it. The Arab language was spoken by the Ishmaelites was not this. Okay, this is the way the world has been conned by the people working with Cain in their deception. He did not bring Cain out of Egypt because Cain was Egypt. Okay, so the main thing that in order to first of all seek the kingdom, you must first know who the Father brought out of Egypt. He did not bring Muhammad out of Egypt the way that they're telling you. Okay? This is where Messianicy is saying, beware of false prophets. And why that is significant was because there are all those trying to be, Esau is always trying to pretend, and all the others that have turned against the Most High to be Jacob. You cannot replace the people that was in covenants that were brought out of Egypt. Who are they? Okay? So then he says, you shall have no other gods before me. These people had a specific way to address the Father. That they know the name, that they know what he was called by the people. And that is the way when you talk about when the Messiah said the Pharisees, scribes, and hypocrites lock up the connection is to have them worshiping other gods before the Creator. So in the essence of what Rome did in 64 AD is to say Jupiter brought you out of Egypt without knowing it. Zeus, in the case of the Greeks, is what they replaced in the deception of who brought the people out of Egypt. This was the agenda for all of those who wanted to call the Messiah a blasphemer and have tricked and bewitched the heathens that they know the God who brought the 12 tribes out of Egypt when they don't. They cannot know him doing any pagan practices. This is what was Constantine and many others of the before him were doing. Saint Jerome and others, Ptolemy, as well as the Flavian Empire, they could not control the people who had received the kingdom, so they needed someone to deceive the people about who could do it. This is what the Bible speaks of when they said, you've been made to think that the deceivers just popped up now. No, they have been going for thousands of years. Okay? So now, when he talks about, I am the Mfumu, okay, what God brought the 12 tribes out of Egypt? What is his name? This is the deception of Christianity as the English understanding, the Latin of the Spanish, the French. We did not call him Dior. We did not call him Deus, like what is called by the Portuguese. We did not call him Dios, like the Spanish say. We did not call him God. Okay, there was a specific way that he was addressed by the chosen. Now, we did use the name Yahweh but we did it in the proper context of the spirit of Yahweh Kongo. This is the thing that they have cut off. When it says, if my people who are called by my name shall humble themselves, then I shall hear from themselves and heal their land. The Father is not going to heal somebody's land that he knows is worshiping Amun Ra. No. Or Shamash, or Anubis, or any one of these other false gods, or Jupiter, or Sol Invictus. No. These kingdoms that put other gods before him were not allowed to have peace. Okay? So the way we receive the peace of the Father is, first of all, what God did you put before him is part of why you struggle with chaos and conflict, especially around the world. Okay? This is imperative to realize why they created so many distractions for you to not understand that in Christianity, you are only meant to think that you are worshiping the God that brought the 12 tribes out of Egypt. The same thing with Islam, the same thing with Judaism. You are meant to believe that this is your God. This is the way Revelation 12 played out with Lucifer. When he said, I shall be like the Most High, you are meant to think that you have gotten the God who took the people out of Engipiti, Egypt, when you have the imposter pretending to be him. So then when you actually go to put this God first, the world hates you. The world is going to hate you. Because the world, the God of this world, does not want those people to know who this God really is that did this act. So the brainwashing effect comes from those. When you are a member of any secret society, you cannot be with the God that brought his people out of Egypt. You are going to be the God that was running Egypt. They know this. When you join fraternities, sororities, any one of these organizations, and you swear an oath that the Messiah said, swear no false oath, this is where the Kabbalah has set the whole world up to be deceived, because they are robbing the temple of the God who actually brought the people out of Egypt. And they're not telling you that. The Luciferian elites are robbing the God that brought his people out of Egypt. So therefore, you cannot first seek the kingdom if you're a thief. And this is the deception that people don't get, that they started with. Okay? The Anunnaki, the Watchers, the Nephilim, whatever you want to call these false gods, what they have done is convinced you that you are talking to the God who brought the people out of Egypt when you are not. You are talking to Sol Invictus, who is Osiris. Hence the Washington Monument obelisk symbol. But you are meant to think that you're talking to the one who actually did this. So when you go to Ntumba or Psalms, okay, and it talks about his prayer, when he says the one who brought us out of Egypt, you are saying, oh, I can relate to who King David is talking to, because they're telling me when I grew up, I'm talking to the God that brought the 12 tribes out of Egypt. No, you are not. You are talking to the hypocrite pretending to be the God who brought them out of Egypt, because this is the way you manipulate how people act and think and work and do according to the wealthy people that run this world. This is how it's been for generations when it comes to the peasants versus the wealthy class. The wealthy elites know they do not serve the God that brought the 12 tribes out of Egypt, but you are meant to believe that they do. This is what we talk about when we say the Father will put a strong delusion on them that believe the lie. So if you think, or you've been meant to believe, you can mix the Canaanite beliefs with his way, you are under this delusion of these false matrices. These Sumerian gods are playing mind games with you, and that's why when you go and talk to people, they're going to spit it back in your face because they don't understand this world is not real to the Father. Because these people are idol worshipers and they are not talking to the God that brought the 12 tribes out of Egypt. They're talking to the God that was running Egypt. Okay? This is the deception. So now, when it talks about the lost book of Nicodemus, and people don't understand, Nicodemus considered himself to be a Balangoki, a disciple. Okay? So Annas and Caiaphas and Sumas and Datam and now we're going to see all of these, they have all of these names that are more Greek. When you got Yaounde, Gamaliel, Levi, Naphtali, Cyrus, and other Bayuda. There was no word called Jews, but it was Bayuda, went to Pilate about Yesue. They did not crucify anybody named Jesus. Rome put the J on there 500 years ago from the I, and in Latin, Jesus was meant to be an insult to the one they actually crucified of Yesue, Yesu. Because Yesu was short for Yeshua. And of course, the H that was given by the Phoenicians was because they worship horse. His name was never Yeshua to us. That was what they called him, the Sanhedrin. Okay? So that was still kind of an insult. Accusing him with many bad crimes. He said, we are assured that Yeshua, the Bena Yosephu, the carpenter, land born of Malia. We did not say Maria because the R was an L. It was Malia. Okay? When you understand what Malia means, you'll understand why. Okay? It means the one who is favored. Okay? And that he declares himself the Benan Muntu and of the king, the king in Tinu, and not only but attempts the dissolution of the Sabbath, the Sambwadi, and the laws of our fathers. Now, here's the hypocrisy. The 13th tribe, or what they call the converted people, could not claim to be of the same father if they are also a hypocrite. If you are hypocrisy to the Father, you are not his. Okay? Because the Father has nothing to do with those. They are spit out. This is what the whole concept of what Lucifer's intention was. He was spit out by the Father. So his delusion was to make you think that you were not spit out, but you are. And the way he did that, he made you believe you can serve the Most High and Mammon at the same time, but think otherwise. No, that's why you're eating grass now. Okay? Pilate replied, which was he declares, and which is he attempts dissolving? The Bayuda told him, we have a law which forbids doing cures on the Sambwadi day. The Sambwadi, they say Sabbath, we say Samba. But he cures both the lame and the deaf, those afflicted with palsy. Now think about this. He cures both the lame and the deaf, those afflicted with palsy, the blind and lepers and demoniacs on the day by wicked Methodists. Here is how a hypocrite is speaking with these people who are so blind. How do you cure diseases with demons? How does that work? How can you cure somebody of something that's affecting their body with a demon? This is the whole concept that the world does not understand, the hypocrisy. That's why most Christians only doing half the job. They're doing a half-ass job because they never got taught the rest. And that's the whole point. Because if you're not in the kingdom, you're not going to know how to do the rest. Okay? You're not going to learn how to raise the dead if you're a hypocrite. No way. Pilate, this is where they really get the word for pilot for people that fly planes, by the way. How can he, and Pilates, of course, how can he do this by wicked methods? He said, hold on a second. Sorry about that. The Kolele. So now when he's sitting there saying, even the so-called enemy of the Messiah or of Rome says, how does he cure people with something that is wicked? So even him being supposedly a wicked guy is saying, is that possible? Knowing that he knows, see, this is how you know Rome was very well aware of who our Father was, because we are the ones that taught Rome and Caesar, and they were aware of this. Okay? They answered, he is a conjurer, which is what the word kindoki or witchcraft or kimbundu or sangoma means. Witchcraft. He casts out devils by the prince of devils. We know that is Beelzebub. Okay, Lord of the Flies. Now the problem is, how do you, if the demon is bringing the sickness? This is why they got rid of the Testament of Solomon when he talks about what these demons do. If the demon is bringing the sickness, how is he going to tell the demon to get rid of it if he's in the same kingdom with the demon? Okay, all those things become subject to him. Then Pilate said, casting out devils seems not to be the work of an unclean spirit, but to proceed from the power of God. So here you have the Roman leader, the governor in charge of the kingdom of Kongo Abantwei at that time, Solomon. He is telling the Sanhedrin, you people are idiots. How can that be? Okay? How can he be casting out devils with an unclean spirit, but it seems to come from the God? And he's not talking about the God that they worshiped at that time, which was Jupiter, Saturn, Mars. All of those gods were called upon at that time by Rome in their religion. So he's recognizing our God, Jupiter, is false. The God of the Bana Betu nZolele is the Golo, is the power of Israel. The true God of Israel. Okay? The Bayuda replied to Pilate, we entreat your highness to summon him to appear before your tribunal and hear him for yourself. Okay? Then Pilate called an embassy or messenger and said unto him, by what means will Christu be brought hither? Because that's how we said it, Kuswa. Now we know we talked about how Pastor Miller talked about Kuswa is where Caesar came from. That's why they're mocking him as Caesar. Okay, Christu, be brought hither. They went by the messenger forth, knowing Christu worshipped him, and having spread the cloak which had hid his hand upon the ground, said, Mfumu, walk upon this and go in, for the governor calls thee. So this embassy, this embassy is recognizing Masindisi, Kuswa Kongo, as the power, as an Mfumu. Okay? When the Bayuda perceived that the messenger had done, they exclaimed to him, to Pilate, said, why do you not give him his own summons by a beetle and not by a messenger? Okay? Now I have to figure out what this word is. This could be where they have the car. You're going to see, I'm not familiar with the word, so we're going to see what this means when it says beetle. A minor parish official employed in the English church to keep her during a beetle, sometimes spelled bedel, is an official who may usher or keep order. So now I see where they get their usher from. Okay, I get it. All right. So Nicodemus is saying, they're saying, just send an usher. Okay. For the embassy, when he saw him, worshipped him and spread the cloak which he had on his hand upon the ground before him and said, Mfumu, the governor, calls thee. Then Pilate called Mbasi and said, Why hast thou done thus? Okay. Now Mbasi replied, When thou sentest me from Salama to Alexander, I saw Yesaway sitting in a mean figure upon a she-ass, and the children of the Bayuda calling out, Hosanna, Hosanna, holding the boughs of trees in their hands. So he was basically performing the same concept. You put down your cloak, you put down your palms for what you refer to as somebody who's the prince or the king. Okay, that's what Hosanna means, prince. Others spread their garments in the way and said, Save us, Yesway, who art thou, art in heaven, Bulakakese, okay, is he cometh the name of the Mfumu, Sakamunu, okay, but the crew cried out again, and message said, the children of the Bayuda, of the Bayuda, what we call the Ikolele, because the word Hebrew is coming from the Aramaic people speaking the Phoenicians, made their acclamation in the Hebrew language, which is actually the Lingala and Kikongo language, which is Hebrew, and couldst thou who art Greek, Hebrew? See, that right there shows you that they know the difference between our language and theirs. You are a Greek. How do you understand Lingala and Kikongo, which was actually the real Hebrew tongue? Yeah, go ahead. Bayuda. Okay? So then he says, the Mbasi answered and said, I asked the Bayuda, said, what is this that the children do cry out in the Bayuda language? In the Bukongo language is really what it was. Okay? They know that Hebrew, Lingala, Chiluba, the Bana Betu languages are actually Hebrew languages. To prove my point, Toda Rabba is Matondo Labi. Because Rabba is referring to rabbi. Yesu Alonga, Matondo Labi. Matondo Rabba, Toda Rabba is Matondo Labi. Because rabbi was Rabbi, and we put the L, it was Labi. We did not say Roma, we said Loma. Okay? As he explained to me, saying he cried out Hosanna, which interpreted is our Mfumu save us. Our Mfumu save us. Actually, it means prince. Kosana, Kosana, prince, prince, prince. Okay? Now, if you go and you put it in the Kikongo, oh Lord, save me. Okay? And let's see how it comes out. Mfumu Gulu Samono. Does that sound like Hosanna? Hosanna is a Bantu word. Okay? When you go and you look up the interpretation of the word Hosanna, what does Hosanna mean? Let's see what they're going to say. Okay? It says a cry of praise or adoration to God, which is like king, king, prince, prince. Okay? They know that. Now they say, save us. Okay? But we know the Bana Betu will know in the Lingala they say it means prince. Okay? They don't want to tell you that. That's why Kosana Mikaeli, Prince Michael. Okay? So now he says, why do you yourself testify to the words spoken by the children, namely by your silence? And what has the Mbasi done amiss? And they are silent. Then the governor said to the Mbasi, go forth and endeavor by any means to bring him in. So basically, he did not see anything wrong with what he was saying. He was repeating what all the other people were saying. Okay? Now, why did the Sanhedrin not call him prince? but the other people did. This is the issue. If they really knew who our Father was, then they would have called him the same way. So this is why later on, as they go and they infiltrated the churches, what made those 7 churches fall was they switched him with Tammuz. That's the only thing that could happen with Cain, with Esau. That's why they had the problems that they had. Okay? That's what made those churches go awry. Okay? So now, so then the governor said, but the messenger went forth and did as before and said in Fumu, come in, for the governor calleth me. And as Yeswah was going in by the ensigns, he carried the standards, the tops of them bowed down and worshiped Yeswah, who carried the standards. Remember, we had representation in our kingdom, the standards. Whereupon the Bayuda exclaimed more vehemently against the incense. Okay, now we called him something totally different. I know we did. This is all Hittite, Canaanite, whatever. But Pilate said, an incense is like someone who is like a lower level person, which would have been Toko, or like a let me see if I can get it to do it. Kidimbu. Okay, Kidimbu. Okay, so it's like, you see that? Kizabu, and Sampa, okay, Chepadere, Kidimbu is what we would call the standard. Okay, so when Pilate said to the Bayuda, I know it is not pleasing to you that the tops of the standards did of themselves bow and worship Yeswah. So like he said, these, when he walked in, the actual standards standing there, bowed down, inanimate objects, they know when Tata Zombie is going to come, the buildings, like it says, will themselves will bow. They must. This is what they don't tell you. When the Most High is with the spirit of an embassy, when you are a representation of the Messendacy, okay, the creation will bow to you. People need to recognize that. The creation bows down to you. This is why when people saw Simon Toko, oh wow, even these people, man, this is somebody, but they stood, they want to be, they stand up there, wow, who is this guy? Okay? This is the concept when people would say, we recognize someone who is with the kingdom. Nobody on the street recognizes a Christian where the standards are bowing down to the spirit inside of you. Something is not right. The Father said, now will come the time when he's going to show people how stupid they are. Okay? The governor called the ensign and said to them, why did you do this? The ensign said to Pilate, we are all pagans. Now listen closely. We are all pagans and are worship the gods in temples. And how should we think anything but worshiping him? So this is the whole concept. Now you see all of these people out here where the sorcerer is tricking them. You have pagans bowing down. As they're bowing down, they are acting like they're bowing down to the real king. And what they don't know is they're actually back to bowing down before the pagan gods. Because if they were actually bowing down to someone who was not a pagan, okay, that is not a pagan representation, that is not a true pagan, okay, they would recognize. This is why Tata Nzambi said whenever his nation would go astray, his name would be blasphemed among the pagans and the heathens. That's why being recognized as the true people is a problem. Because now you will see the nations must bow down to you. Why do you think the Jewish people are catching so much flack from the Christians, the Muslims, and everybody else? Why do you think they're catching flack? Why do you think they have to sit there and justify themselves to who they are? You don't have to justify yourself who you are if, in fact, your kingdom is the Father's kingdom. That's what the Father says. What are you arguing about? The time will come when the whole world will bow down before the kingdom of Kongo Abantwei again. And you will see this. Where the nations, Muslims, Christians, Jews, everybody, what remnants of, what do you call them people? Arabs, people who practice Hinduism, Judaism, Buddhism, all these things. When the Father is in the presence, okay, this is where the Malekima Kongo say that the nations are now going to pay the price. Because I told you, Revelation 3 and 9 is anybody that claims to be the people who were brought out of Egypt that were not. Okay? And this is the thing. Then Pilates said to the rulers of the synagogue, okay, they call it synagogue, it's nZombie, they renamed it. Okay? This is why that's part of the reason why Kuso Kongo went in and tossed it. Do you yourself choose some strong men and let them hold the standards, and we shall so whether will then bend them of themselves. So the elders of the Bayou sought out 12 of the strongest old men and made them hold the standards that they stood in the presence of the governor. So you have these things talking. They say, where does the standard? These things bow down. What? So the elders of the Bayou sought out 12 of the most strong old men and made them hold up the standard that they stood in the presence of the governor. Then Pilatus said to them, take Yesue out by some means, bring him in again. And Yesue the messenger went out of the hall. And Pilatus called the incense who before had borne the standards and swore to them, if they had not borne the standards in that manner when Yesue before entered, he would cut off their heads. Why is it so significant to cut somebody's head off? That goes back to the deception of what happened with Cain, Nimrod, and Esau. Off with your heads is the witch. Okay? So he, affiliating himself with Libertas or Athena, whatever you want to call her at that time with Rome, she knows if you bow down before this Messiah, we're going to cut your head off. This is what is going to happen with Revelation. Because it's Yusu Mwana Nzambi Kuswa Kongo. It's the spirit that he represented. It's the kingdom that was inside of him that people are going to get cut off their heads for. Okay? Then the governor commanded Yesue to come in again. And the messenger did as he'd done before and very much entreated Yesue he could pick up on the cloak and walk on it. So you see, to appease them, even Masindis, he said, all right, I'll play along with your stupid game. I'm going to call out and come back again, but it ain't going to work. Okay? He's showing them, you people are idiots. Okay? And when Yesue went in, the standards bowed themselves as before and worshipped him. Now Pilatus said that as he was afraid, he was about to rise from his seat. But while he thought to rise, his own wife, who stood in distance, said to him, saying, have nothing to do with this man, just man, for I have suffered much concerning about a vision this night. So even you see why you have to be careful of chastising people who have visions that aren't from the bloodline. Because Pilates' wife said, yo, an embassy of the Most High, who would give him this vision? An embassy of the Tanzambi has come to me and said, this is not good that we keep messing with this man. Bad things are going to happen. Okay? So when the Bayuda heard that, they said to Pilate, do we not say unto thee, he is a conjurer? Behold, he has caused thy wife to dream. So they're saying the sorcerer has done this. Okay? That's why Tatanzambi says, to do the Bible, you will be the sorcerer, not the people doing sorcery. To actually go and actually do the Most High's work in spirit and in truth, and to actually go and collect the sheep and feed them their bread and do what it takes to find the kingdom and seek it, you are the wizard. You are the warlock. So that's why when you go out here talking to Christians, Muslims, and whoever you want to say, and you actually show the kingdom of the Most High to them, you will be the warlock. Because it's designed that way. That's why we're having such a hard time out here when people say, you're the crazy person, and the world has not, because the world has not seen the true kingdom of the Most High manifest during this time of Lucifer's deception. That's why you're having a hard time explaining to people, because the creation will bow down to the one who is the true kingdom. And you will cause a stir among those who want to know, who is this guy? Or who is this lady? Who are these people? Okay? Pilate called Yeshua and said that, as thou heard what I testify against thee and makes no answer. See, the problem is, this is why Tatanzambi says, why entertain folly? What am I going to answer to? These people are foolish to think that I'm a sorcerer. That's why he said, I'm entertaining Lucifer's deception. He's the one doing this. Yeshua replied, if they had not power of speaking, they could not have spoke. But because everyone has the command of his own tongue to speak both good and bad, let him look to it. This is why you have to understand why the scriptures say the world will be the good and the bad no matter what. Everybody can speak, however, with the power that is within them. But you as a person can make themselves shut their mouth if the Father so demands it. Okay? But the elders, the elders, okay, let's look at the word elders again, because the elders actually comes from the Canaanites. Okay? The Bambuta, okay? Sorry, my mouth is dry. But Bambuta, or the Nkuluntu, the Bayuda answer said, Yeshua, what shall we look to? Why do you think this is not in the scriptures? Because it's going to give you a hint right here. In the first place, we know this concerning thee, that thou was born through fornication. Secondly, that upon the account of thy birth, the infants that were slain in Batama. Thirdly, that thy father and mother fled to Egypt because they could not trust their own people. Was he really born in fornication? No, it was not. They made this up because they were not willing to believe how the Most High did it. And they're saying it's because of you that but see, like he says, on the account of thy birth. No, their wicked king wanted to say, I am the only king here. So who are you blaming? You anointed this king. And he said, I want no one challenging me. Okay? Tatanzambi, and this is where you got to understand where Christians are clueless. If Lucifer wanted to kill him, why would he not want to also kill anyone that demonstrates the true power of the Most High? You cannot run out here in the so-called fallen kingdom deception and think that your life is not in danger. This is why Toko and Kimbangu had the problems they had. Your life is in danger when you are a child, and they're still doing this even to this day. That's why they covered up what they did over the last 120 years after Toko came. Because they said, anyone like Toko, we got to kill this guy, this baby. Anybody like Kimbangu, we got to kill these children. Okay? But we have to do it in such a way that the world doesn't catch on that they actually think they have the truth when they have the lie. So you are a threat to Rome, to every and all man-made religion, for a person that can come and expose their folly. Okay? Remember that. Some of the Bayuda who stood up and spake more favorably, we cannot say that he was born through fornication, but we know that his mother was betrothed to Yosephu. So how was he? And so he was not born through fornication, because the Most High was married to Tata Nzambi, to Malia Makongo, and to Yosephu, according to the concept of how he consummated the church representative. The Most High did not sin against himself. It's a lie. This is your account is not true. Seeing therefore he was betrothed, but as they testify of your own nation. Now, of course, the 13th tribe, like Tata Kongo said, the reason why I had to come is because our ancestors brought in imposters. They weren't even part of our nation. This is our fault. The whole purpose of why we're going through this mess is because imposters came and said that they were Bana Betu and nZolele when they were not. So then they go and messed up everything, and now the Tata Nzambi had to come and rectify this folly. But then they continue to mess it up even to this day, and the people are not aware of this. Okay? Annas and Caiaphas spoke to Pilate. All this multiple of people be regarded who cry out that he was born through fornication as a conjurer, but they who deny him to be born through fornication and his proselytes and his Balangoki. Pilate said, "Who are the proselytes?" They answered, "These are those who are the children of pagans and are not become Bayuda, but followers of him." So now you have a test. These are the Christianos people, the people who worship Zeus, are saying, "No, we rejecting Zeus. This is the guy. We've seen it. This is the guy." Okay? Then reply, that's why the Father said, "Hey, I will give it over to any of those people who believe, and I will take it away from those who should believe." That's the whole concept. That's why there's a remnant of the other nations. Okay? Pilate answered and it said, then replied Eleazar and Asterius and Antonius and Jacobo and Carus and Samuel and Isaka and Phineas, Crispus and Agrippa, Annas and Yaounde, who were not proselytes, but the children of Bayuda. So this is the pure bloodline. So they would have had different names. The name would not be Asteria, but and Speak the Truth was said, he was present when Malia was betrothed. So what they're saying is, when Malia went up the temple in nZolele and was betrothed to Tata Nzambi, they were witness to the fact that she married the Most High, even as his own child. Okay? Now they say, well then, didn't he curse the angels for this? No, because what they did it is without permission. That's why. Okay, that's why they got cursed. They did it because they did it on their own. It wasn't like the Most High can't permit this. What he's saying is, I am the Father. You want to do something, you need permission from me. Okay? What you did is you did it without telling me that you're going to do it. So you went against me and got cursed. Okay? So it's no different than when we say, when you put the Father first, okay? The whole concept of our Father is when we do things, you got to make sure the Most High is okay with it. If he's not okay with it, then comes the judgment. And this is what we're dealing with today in this world, is there are those who think that the Most High is okay with what they are doing, and he's not. But he says, whatever. If you want to believe it, be my guest. So the matrix is what he created for them. Okay? Then Pilate, addressing himself to 12 men who spake, he said, I conjure you by life of Caesar and Kuswa, that ye faithfully declare whether he was born through fornication and these things that have been related. Then answered Pilate, we have a law whereby we are forbid to swear, it being a sin. So that's what the whole concept is. Swearing is the sin. Let them that swear by the leaf of Caesar that is not as he said, and it will be contented to be put to death. So this is the whole part of the hypocrisy. This is the hypocrisy. They say that to swear by the life of Caesar that is a sin, but then they said we have no God but Caesar. Do you see the hypocrisy there? Okay? This is the concept. There's the hypocrisy. We have no God but Caesar, but we cannot swear by the life of the God of Caesar. It's a sin. But yet now you're swearing on the Bible of the Canaanites with the Most High in there. Okay? This is why they know that you're worshiping the God of sin, the God of death. People keep saying, why did the Most High kill the Most High? Satan is dead. He's a dead God. What are you talking about? When he left the kingdom of heaven, he became dead. But spirits of the dead, they move around. That doesn't mean, dead doesn't necessarily mean you see the person physically like this. No, the spiritual world, you see the dead spirits. And those spirits need energy in order for them to even continue to have existence without being in the lake of fire where he has made a place. They say, well, how do they feel pain? You're going to see how spirits are inflicted, and they understand what that really means. So you don't understand there's an infliction that you do get when you're dead. If you think I'm lying to you, why do you think they're fighting for their lives right now? Why do you think they keep jumping bodies and all this? They know what they're talking about. Nah, man, we got to stay in flesh. We don't get to stay in flesh. Oh, boy, it's over. Okay? Now the Father said, you can't jump no more. It's done. Because it's cut off. There's only be wicked spirits. And then how do you have wicked spirits? Okay? That's what I told people. The Most High did kill Lucifer because he's a dead God. All the gods of the dead require the souls of the living. That's why you see people going to be running around that have no soul, because they're using yours. That's why the Father said, hey, don't worship the dead things. They're going to take your soul. This is why you have to fight to get it back with the repentance of the Maliki Kongo. When you give over your soul to Lucifer, now the Maliki Kongo got to come and fight to get it back. That's what sin really is. Sin is where you have allowed your soul to go over to the wrong side. That's why the Jewish people and also the Muslims and all these other people who run in these, the Christians who are in control of these false religions of the frauds, they know when you call yourself anything but the Most High's children, your soul is attached to that deity that they have changed you with. So now when you say you're a Christian according to the ways of Rome, then that's why the fake God that they now declare as our God controls you. So then when you go to tell people you are breaking the first commandment no matter what. No, I'm not. Like it says, they know you break one law, you break them all. So then the problem is repentance of Bazumba. So Tata Nzambi, please declare for Bazumba. This is where you're fighting against the principalities to once again raise yourself up to the kingdom so that you can actually have the understanding of the kingdom. To receive forgiveness means the kingdom now comes back into you. Now I can operate. Stay out of the pit. The concept is when you don't understand that you're not listening to the Mwanda and you grieve the Mwanda, you're hoping to not blaspheme the Mwanda. This is where the Father is trying to wink at these things because he knows what they have done to us is they have rigged it to where you break the first commandment because we were sent into captivity. So now when he brings us back out, that's why he has to say, you are now pardoned. Because why you don't remember you who you are is because I sent you away from me. But now I said, I will bring you back. Now as a judgment, you are released of the sins that were cast upon you when I sent you to go worship the false gods. Okay? This is what people don't understand why he did not change anything. Okay? So now when we talk about hypocrisy, Matthew 23:13. Okay? And we're going to go through Matthew 6. This is important to understand why he said this. Be careful not to do. Now, I'm going to bring up the Mfumu's prayer in the Kongo that I remember. Okay? And this is why it's significant to understand. That's why when you have a home and your wife and you are together, if you are not in the kingdom of the Most High together, you will then be having problems of no peace in the home. But you can have what's called a simulated peace as an unbeliever. When you sit there and you say, well, I believe in Jesus Christ, I believe blah, blah, blah. Okay, when you're ignorantly professing your allegiance to Baal, this is when you can still act like you have peace, but technically you're always going to be dealing with problems. Why you're always in debt, why you're dealing with financial, why you have stress, why your world always seems to be ripping and running. Our Father does not need speed and busting your butt and getting after it so you can make a buck today. This is the deception. He don't need the rat race that they created. Never did. He's Malembe, and his work is always going to be there. Okay? He don't need the hustle and bustle and the speed and the life that they have given people. This is a joke. They created this world to create stress because they know you're with the wrong God, to create problems, to create chaos. Okay? To have you running from tornadoes and earthquakes and things when his own kingdom can be protected from those daily. Okay, not touched. Okay, so be careful not to do devotional practices in the sight of others. Otherwise, you will have no benefit from the Mfumu in the spiritual realm. Why do you think now, and this is the real thing about it, the whole concept, this is why the Christians are hypocrites, because they want people, when they see people going and reading the Bible and then, oh, you're one of us, to show you, okay, you must know who we are. Okay, then the Muslims do it like that. No, the point is everything you do is supposed to be private interactions with you and the Father. He is the teacher. But he gave authority to Mfumu Yisu to where he says, Yusu Malongi, because my father and I are on the same wavelength. We know what we want. I know what he wants and how it should be. Okay? Therefore, when you do your devotion practice, do not sound a trumpet before as the hypocrites do in the synagogues and in the streets, that they may receive honor of others. Truly I say to you, they have already collected their reward. That's why, okay, people want to say they want to hang the crosses around their necks. They want to carry the Bibles in their hand. They want to be walking into, okay, look, see, I'm a Christian. Look here, see, I worship the true God. They don't understand that the hypocrites showed them to be the opposite of this scripture. They have to walk around and say, see, I'm a Christian, or see, I'm a Muslim. The point is, when you practice your devotion with the Father, you don't even have to tell them who you are. They will see it. Okay. He's definitely different. Just like when they said, oh, the gods have come down to us. No, they're going to see the power manifest, that you are not the same as everybody else. That's why they have to get the ones who know, hey, this world is not, what the heck's really going on here? Something is off. These are the people they have to get worried about, because you're noticing that you are learning from the hypocrites. Okay, they don't want people to know that. So you must be dealt with. Okay? But when you do devotional service, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. This is where a hidden hand comes from. Okay? Which means that it's none of the business of anybody else but you and the Father. It's between you and him. Thus, the devotional service may be done in secret, and your informer who sees you in secret may reward you openly. Now you hear churches say, oh yeah, get your prayer closet, go in your closet, pray. Pray to who? You, in many of these Christian churches who practice both the pagan and the non-pagan together, are praying to Apollo. So therefore, the sorcerer playing both sides is masquerading like he's the one giving you the blessings, when everything that you're doing is backwards. All you got to do is look at what is happening in your life. The blessings coming in money with people's faces on it. Okay, that's no different than Caesar. What does the Father's money look like? What does his kingdom gold look like? What does the Most High's gold look like? What does it have on there? If you can't answer that question, you don't know the kingdom. Yeah, a lot of people are going to be deceived with that. Okay? Thus your devotion service may be done in secret and openly. And when you pray, do not do what the hypocrites do, for they like to stand in the synagogue and in the streets and praying. Truly I say, they will have their full reward. Many people don't understand. You're standing up in these churches, you're praying. Praying to who? Oh, the God that brought the 12 tribes out of Egypt. Who are they? Oh, these people? No. This is the problem. You do not know this God, or you would understand many of the things you do in your church are actually hypocrisy. And you are actually ticking them off. And they know this. Okay? The secret societies cannot be teaching you anything, because they themselves standing there are hypocrites. But does that not mean they can't be used to do certain things? Can they not be nice? Can they not be, peaceful? Can they not, certain people, can they do good things? Of course they can. But you cannot teach your child how to go in the Father's way if you are an Egyptian in the spirit. You can only do it carnally. So you can tell them about the 10 Commandments, but how can that, now does the kingdom manifest out of you to actually do what the Messiah required of us? Everything, not just half of the work. That's why you don't see any pastors going to any hospitals with anybody coming out of there healed. Why? Because they are hypocrites. But when you pray, go into your closet and shut the door. All right. So we know, of course, and I can do the Mfumu's prayer in Kongo that I have learned. Because this is the concept that many people don't understand. That when the Father sees people praying the way that they've been taught through the colonial system and through the Roman paganism deception, he's looking at a bunch of hypocrites. Who told you to put your head down? I didn't say that. Who told you to hold hands like that? That's not what I said. Okay, you want to keep believing these things. You're in a witch's circle and you don't even know it. And you're transferring energy of the Beelzebub and you don't even get it. So then instead of actually receiving the power that lifts you up, you are staying under the chains that keep you down. And that's why communities don't ever change. That's why the world does not really see the true power of the Father, because you are in chains spiritually. All right. So when we come to the prayer, all right. Now they say, our spiritual Father, holy is your name. What is his name? God. You keep thinking like that, be my guest. Deus. What is his name? Yave. Yave what? The way of what? Lies are the way of truth. Yave just means the way. The way of what? That's why they took off the Kongo part. Yave Ba'al means the way of lies. Yave Kongo means the way of truth. What spirit? Are you in the spirit of Tata Kongo in the spirit of the truth, or you're in the spirit of Lucifer? How do you cannot mix the two together? We struggle with this all the time. Show us your sanctuary. May your will be done on earth as it is in the spiritual realm. Give us today the food that sustains life. What life? What food? This is why he talks about giving us the bread to eat. The children get the bread. How can a pagan receive the bread of heaven when he is worshiping a false god? You're just saying words. You're not receiving anything, but you're getting worms. That's why you got people now with parasites. And they're covering this up. That's why you're getting parasites and not good manna. Because the pig god is giving you parasites. Please forgive us our offenses as we forgive those who offend us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the wickedness. The Father does not tempt people. What are you worried about getting tempted by? For if you forgive others for your offenses, your spiritual father will also forgive you. That's why when he's specifically talking in this question, the only way to obtain forgiveness is when you pray as a non-hypocrite. You're not going to get forgiveness from the Father of your sins, and this is what happens when you die, and it's going to shock you. When you're praying to Anubis, the secret societies know that. So you're going to stand there before the Father. He's going to be like, you're in the wrong place. What? I don't know you. You were a pagan that did not actually talk to me. You talked to Jupiter over there. Okay? That's what happens when you keep worshiping pagan holidays, I'm telling you. And it don't matter if whatever religion say they don't celebrate it. Yes, they do. They just make it look like they don't. The Jewish people celebrate Christmas with the Christians as well. Don't think that they don't. They have to make it look good because they know that's Tammuz. Let them keep lying to you. And the Muslims the same way. Yes, they do. They just don't tell you that. They know it's the sea of, they know that those religions are all Tammuz. They're lying to you. Okay? All the religions celebrate the 25th of December. They may not put up they may have to pretend that don't put up the trees so we can still keep our image. Yeah, they still bowing down to the phallic of Osiris. Don't even think that they're not. It's a lie. Only the Bana Betu of nZolele and nZila Kongo Abantwei is where you're not bowing down to the phallic. Okay? Furthermore, and then he talked about it, okay? So now, it's a dieta kokozulu, yambula jia du kuzangwa, kintinu kakukiza, oluzuwa ilangama avansi nete kokozulu, o tu vama de acueto colombo, o tu loca masumamento, and doloka kutuloka nantueto, codifidico utifidico upupumane, o tu fulazamabi, karikintinu, yangolo, yankembu, evoinvu ingeta. Okay? That's why he said, do not store up treasures on earth, but the moth and rust is still. Okay? That's why fasting is so important. But you cannot fast to the Father in the name of Baal. Who are you talking to? You don't understand witches and warlocks, they fast too, because they still need to have that energy. You're going to find this out. Okay? That's why he said, for where your treasure is, your heart will be also. That's why they made people into what you want to call capitalists. And even if they claim not to be, they are. China is a capitalist even though it's communist. Okay? What is it about? Your treasure is more focused in here than in the kingdom. So if you're focusing on everything but, that's why the foreigners, when you're learning from hypocrites, you're going to put your treasures down here. When you're not with the hypocrite, you're going to put your treasures in the kingdom. They did this on purpose. They wanted you to be materialistic because they know that you're selling yourself out when you keep putting things that are not worth anything to the Father. Excuse me. So now, do not be anxious in asking what we will eat, what we will drink. This is where Hakuna Matata really comes from. It wasn't Swahili, it was Bantu culture before that. For the atheists eagerly seek all these things, but your spiritual knowledge know everything you need. That's why when you see the people, an atheist, let me tell you what an atheist really is. This is the deception. This is how they got you. An atheist is a person who does not have the kingdom in them. This is what they got Christians. They say, Christians, you are technically atheists because you worship Jupiter, just like the atheists. You too, Muslims, you too, anybody who's worshiping the three frogs, you are an atheist. Because what that means is you're eagerly trying to figure out how you're going to get saved. Christians will say, well, I know I'm saved already. How do you know that? Do people see the kingdom in you? Do they really see it? Or are you just thinking you have the kingdom? Okay? But first seek the sanctuary and his devotion, and everything will else be taken care of for you. That's why you have been around so many hypocrites. When you seek the kingdom and his sanctuary, everything is taken care of. And I mean everything is taken care of. So now, thus do not be anxious about tomorrow, for tomorrow will take care of itself. Hakuna Matata. Each day brings enough challenges as it is. Oh, where's that part at? Okay? That's why they call and say, oh, we're going to face the challenge today. Oh, let's see what's going to happen. No. When you wake up and you do your interaction with the Father, and you do the things to help people understand what's going on, and you live a righteous life, this is the conversation I have with my spouse and every other person all the time. You live in a world where your needs are not taken care of the way they should be because you are a pagan. But now, so Lucifer don't know that you don't catch on, this is where he's buying off your silence. Or he's making it look like you got it when you don't. So to the Father, you look ridiculous with all the things that you don't need, or you think you need it, but you never did, when all of your knowledge is coming from this wrong tree, the one that does good and evil. If this is who you worship, your house will always have problems. Period. Oh, what now? Oh, man. What happened this time? Okay, tell me what's going on. Okay? You are prepared for problems as they come to you when you have the real kingdom as your sanctuary. That's why when Kongo Abantwei was one kingdom, this kind of stuff where people were like, oh, my child is born. Oh, what's going on my job? All these things. Okay, man, where does Bill come from? Why do you think they created a system where you have to pay for everything that the Father gave his kingdom people for free? It's a lie. You did not have to go and say, here, Tata Nzambi, here's a $100 bill for all the groceries you just put with me. We didn't have to do that. You go to your garden, oh, thank you, Tata Nzambi, I get to eat matondo. You didn't have to go hunting for animals, the animal come to you. Yo, the world is deceived. That's why when Christians came from Europe to America and around the world, they were preaching the hypocrite as their Lord and Savior, that the other nations already knew who he was, and they covered up that history. But then you had to do it their way, and they themselves were also doing it wrong. Oh, but no, we know we're doing it right. Our pastors said to do it like this. They are never doing it the Most High's way. If they were, you would see the people dancing and jumping and okay. There's the Persian, the Muslims dances are like the Persians. Same with the other Hamitic Christians. That's why they dance more like you see the Indian people, because that's what the sorcerer was doing. And like his brother wasn't dancing like that. His brother was winding his hips and doing that. He wasn't dancing like this. He was charming like the snake charmer. Okay? This is the concept. You're with the snake charmer. You're with the one that's doing the Pied Piper. Okay? The sweet music. Okay? You're with the siren doing the spell like, oh, that's so beautiful music. Oh. Okay, and the person standing up in front of you is a mermaid, just like a human. You don't even know. You're going to see this. In a warlock, in a wolf, in a werewolf. These things, creatures, change and shape-shifted so you don't know. You can't see them. Oh, do you see me? No, if you see me, you're the crazy guy. Conspiracy theorists. Okay? That was the goal. Mayamona list. Oh, you can see me? Oh, no, that's not good. That's the difference. Okay? All right, let me put the song on. I'm going to end right there. And you know, it's important. That's why they don't want people to know the locations. They want the locations that they know where they are to stay in the mess that they're in. All these African leaders are about to get a big hit very soon. Watch. I saw the picture. Let Tshisekedi shake hands with Bill Gates. He going down the pit with him. Yeah. When Kuso Kongo show up with a kingdom and his army, the Basota, the Maliki Kongo, do worse than what they did to the Belgians, to everybody. Okay? There's no F-15 or F-16 going to blow up Makaya. No, ain't happening. You can shoot all the nuclear missiles you want at Gablia. What happened? That was, okay, tickles. Nothing going to affect these Malekis. When you get Laria and Lafayette, all of these Maliki Kongo coming down here, when they start doing the pow, 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 he's still standing there. What the heck? You're not going to knock down a Maliki Kongo when the Mosai said go. Indestructible for real, for real. Taking robots and smashing this. Oh, this is one of the indestructible robots. Let's see how indestructible it is. Boom! Smash it like a tin can. Huh? What? What then? You don't understand. The Most High, when he said, that's what he said, when I say go, until I say stop, you're going to see nothing will stop my army. Not one single mortal person with none of their technology from this idiot will stop not one of them. And you don't understand this. Not one tank, not one helicopter, not one fighter jet, not one bomber are going to stop a Maliki Kongo when the Most High say go. Okay? No. Not one nuke, not one nothing. You're going to do more damage to yourself than to them. Period. You're going to really kill yourself is what's going to happen. You're going to be destroyed. The bulletproof bouncing off, boom, just like Knight Rider. Oh, I shot them. I shot myself. Yeah. It's like Kit. When they do the tinsel, the boom, oh, bulletproof. The bullet come back at you. Then what? Okay? I don't own the rights to the music. It's not for religious speech of any kind. For the edification of this channel, I do not own the rights to it. Where did it go? Klistu. They put Crystal, but it's really Klistu. Kuswa, actually. Let's go with it. Here we go. Weezer. It was not called Weeze. It's Weezer. Please. This is how the angels dance in the kingdom. This is how the real angels will dance. Michael, Yalia, all of them, Raphael, Zombie. And all the imposter Mayamonas are about to be gone. Don't think just because they say a Mayamona that they real. Just because they say I'm a prophet or a pastor, all of them coming down now. Because the kingdom is not inside a hypocrite. that teaches people to break the Father's law and break the First Commandment and has people idolize it and lying about it. No matter how sweet and how nice they talk, they're working for the imposter. No more will our Father look ashamed, look bad to this earth. And the fallen will look so good when he's playing you for a fool. Just like the days of Noah. Same crap, same cities, saying he's the good guy and Tata Nzambi's the bad guy. And got his people calling on Tata Nzambi, and they all got oaths to the secret society library. And they say, oh, we serve the all-powerful mighty God, when they're serving the God of Egypt, and they're liars. I am one who can see. That means you have the Holy Spirit. The kingdom of the Most High is in you. That's why those who really want to show you the truth are always under the attack for those who want to keep preaching a lie. There's many Mayamonas, not just the one. All the people on the list, Mayamona, under Kufa Kongo Fumayisu. That's why they want to keep throwing up the blockages against you. And having all these imposters lying. You're still under the deception of Rome. And they're keeping it a secret. You're still being used as a pawn in the game of the imposter. Now comes the end of the lies. Akongo Yave. It's one name, it's one tribe now. And it's Kufa Kongo. That's his name now. Kongo. That was just to get things rolling. Now you're going to see the difference. All right. And I found it's not Weege, it's Weeza. From the brother who's from there. They changed it for the French. Oh, praises. Zola, 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 Zola. Love, 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 love. Zola. nZolele. Not everybody is nZolele of the Most High. The Most High don't love the hypocrites. He only loves those who want to be with him in spirit and in truth. He does not want the people out here who's causing stumbling blocks for his sheep. He wants the people who are trying to stop from being a stumbling block to his sheep. Period. He says, those who are not, when he says those who teach the children to break the father's law, meaning you are a stumbling block. I don't want those. What I want are the people who are going to stop people from being a stumbling block by calling themselves everything but the Most High. The Tokuistas are supposed to be of the kingdom of Kongo. The Kimbanguists are to be of the kingdom of Kongo. The 12 tribes are of the kingdom of Kongo. If you don't even know what I'm talking about, then you're not chosen. And then there are those who know what I'm talking about. They're going to say, you are a worker of iniquity. I never knew you because you're trying to steal from the temple using the names that you think you know. I will catch every thief, as it said. They will deal every thief or get hit. Every thief. Zechariah 5:1. Understand that's for everyone thinking that they are not a thief when they know that they have been deceived. All right. Sala Kambote. Our praises coming to Tanzambi. Ingeta. nZolele. Sambolola Zola Kwingi. Betwabu. Ingeta.